Hello friends, this is Carrie and welcome back to I Like Reddit channel. I hope you all are staying safe and healthy. Today friends, we have 5 stories out of the Entitled Parents subreddit. Let's begin. Our first story is by Warrior White. EM feels entitled to my handicapped parking spot just because she let some guy get her pregnant. Why do women with kids feel so entitled just because they have kids? I, female 30 years old, have an autoimmune arthritis condition. I walk with a cane. On my bad days, I can barely walk at all. I have a handicap placard for those days. I had to go grocery shopping a while ago, but I was in no condition to be walking a long ways. It was not a code red pain day, but it was definitely up there. If I hadn't been completely out of a few major necessities, I probably wouldn't have been out at all. When I got there, all the handicap spots were full, but I saw an older gentleman loading his trunk and knew that the spot would soon be available. So I pulled up and put on my blinker and waited. As soon as he was gone, I pulled into the spot and threw up my blue placard and began hauling myself out of the car. I'm about ready to close the door when I hear, "Excuse me." I look over and see a teal SUV pull up behind me. There's a woman in the driver's seat yelling out the open passenger window at me. EM, "You just took my spot." Me, "What? I was waiting behind the other guy. I didn't see you." EM, "No, these are handicap spots. They're only for handicapped people." I was literally leaning against my car, cane in hand, and I hold up my cane. "I am handicapped, ma'am. I have a permit." The EM scoffs and pulled away. I decided to forget about her and begin my hobble walk into the store. I got even more frustrated when I saw that there were no electric carts available, so I was forced to grab one of those small trolleys and walk. Since I have a hard time pushing a cart with one hand, and the cart offers some support, I put my cane into the cart. I was only as far as the produce section when I hear a familiar voice. "Hey, you!" It's the EM. She's pushing one of those big carts that look like cars for kids. She had an infant and a toddler strapped into the front of the car, another kid, maybe 2, standing, bouncing in the cart, and yet another child holding her hand walking beside her. He looked 5-ish? I'm bad about telling ages. And she was very pregnant. She stalks up to me with a really irritated expression. You need to learn to be more respectful. I was waiting for that parking spot and you stole it." She's talking/yelling over her kids who are all fussing loudly. Me, "Lady, I didn't see you waiting for that spot. If you were, I apologize." The EM, "I was waiting for it. I needed that spot to be close to the entrance, and because of you, I had to park all the way towards the back." Me, "Well, I said I'm sorry." I look over at her and her brood real quick. "Besides, it was a handicap spot. You can only park there if you have a permit. Are you or one of your kids handicapped?" EM, "No, the spot was for me. I'm pregnant." Me, "Lady, you can't use disabled parking just because you're pregnant. Not unless you have some complications that affect your mobility." EM, "No, you can use them if you're pregnant too. And I always use them." Me, "I don't think that's how it's supposed to work, ma'am. You're lucky you haven't gotten ticketed for not having a permit displayed." The EM huffs, "Well, you shouldn't be using it. You're not pregnant and clearly don't have children." Me, "No, I'm not pregnant, but I am disabled." This whole conversation I had been leaning on my cart for support. I pulled my cane out to let her see. I can barely walk 10 feet without pain. That's why I have a handicap permit. EM, "That's no excuse. You can't be in that much pain. I've been up all night with a colicky baby and can't keep anything down because of morning sickness. I'm exhausted. My feet are killing me. You don't know what it's like wrangling 4 kids while being pregnant. I clearly needed that spot more than you." I am more than done with this whole argument at this point. Look, lady, I'm in pain and tired. I want to just finish my shopping and go home and try and work up the will to make dinner tonight. I didn't see you waiting for that damn parking spot, and you shouldn't be using it without a permit. Good day. I tried walking away. EM, "You selfish brat. You don't know what tired is like. I'm gonna report you to store security and I'm gonna get them to tow your car." Me, "Lady, call security if you want. I'm allowed to park there. I didn't choose to become disabled, but you chose to have kids. It's not my fault you're tired and run down and can't be bothered to walk an extra 200 feet to the door. It's not my fault you chose to let some guy get you pregnant. You deal with your life and I'll deal with mine." I hobbled off and tried to finish my shopping, ignoring her parting comments. That fight gave me just enough adrenaline to get through the trip without falling apart. I had the assistant help me load my vehicle, which was undisturbed where I'd parked it. I was still irritated when I got home, but it was nothing that a long soak in the tub couldn't fix. I still hope she gets ticketed for parking in handicap parking, but as long as I never see her again, I will be happy. Too long didn't read. EM wants my handicap spot because she's pregnant and had 4 kids. Felt her pregnancy is worse than my disability. Our next story is by Loud Canadian. EM tries to open my sleeping daughter's stroller and almost loses teeth. Title is pretty self-explanatory, but I still can't believe it happened. Cast. Me is me, EM is entitled mom, NK is nice kid. So it was a nice day out and I decided to give my spouse some much needed mama time. So I took my little daughter out for a stroll. Almost immediately she falls asleep, which is alright, it was close to nap time anyway. Cue the drama. A little girl, probably 6 or 7, comes up to me in the stroller, which is shut so that my daughter can sleep without getting sun in her eyes. Nice kid. Oh my gosh, can I see your baby? Me. I'm sorry, kiddo. She's having a nap, but if you want, you guys can meet me in the park after I'm done with my walk in a little bit, and then you can say hi. I was going to walk to the local restaurant for a coffee and a bite to eat, and was going to head back. The park was pretty much right next door. The little girl sounded a little disappointed when I said sorry, but perked up when I said the park. Then the demon arrives. EM. Let my kid see the baby, please. Me. Sorry, you must not have heard. She's having a nap right now. But on my way back, you guys could meet me in the park and say hi. EM. Ugh, I don't have time for this. Let me see your baby now. She reached for the top part of the stroller. My dad reflexes kicked in and I smacked her hand. The commotion caused my daughter to wake up and get fussy. She's 9 months old. Me. If you do that again, so help me God, you'll have some broken bones. You hear me? EM. Are you threatening me? I will call the cops. Me. It's not a threat, it's a promise. Don't touch my daughter or I will hurt you. EM. You're a jerk. She just wanted to see your baby. EM exits stage left. I storm off, cool down, and get a chai. Holy hell. I honestly don't know what she was thinking. I even offered to let her see her in half an hour. Huh. Some people. Edit. I've gone for half a dozen walks before and I've never seen those two. They must either be tourists or moved here. I really hope they didn't move near me. Edit 2. I typed the first part weird. I'm the baby's father and took her for a walk so that her mom could have some time to herself. I appreciate all the strong mom comments though. If you're enjoying the content so far, please put a heart emoji in the comment section down below. Our next story is posted by Sniffied. Entitled Mom throws a tantrum when asked to keep an eye on her kid. The story about the kid licking the counter reminded me of an incident that happened to me a couple of years ago in a bakery. For some background, in my country, everyone uses card, not cash. We're also rather reserved, and so it takes a lot for people to do more than just glare when someone breaks a social norm. So this happened on a Saturday pre-COVID. I was waiting my turn along with a bunch of other people. Among these people was the entitled mom and her little monster. Entitled mom found it more important to stare at her phone rather than look after her child. The little monster used this opportunity to be a nuisance, running around people's legs, shouting, etc. He was maybe 5 or 6 and bored. Oh well. Besides sending an evil glare, or 2, to the mother, no one spoke up. Then the little monster crossed the line. First, he used his greasy hands to make patterns on the counter with a sign that says, "Please do not touch." The sales girl, about 16, politely asked him to stop. He didn't listen and talked back to her. She then tried to get the attention of the entitled mother, but to no avail. Now the little monster got bored with the counter and started licking the buttons, ew, at the payment terminal for wheelchair users. This was just too much. I told him that that was not okay and that he had to stop as soon as possible. Finally, the mother woke up. She threw a major tantrum because I dared speak to him like that. I told her it wouldn't be necessary for others to correct her child's behavior if she was willing to parent herself. This made her explode, and thankfully a couple of other customers and the sales girl came to my support. The EM finally took her little brat and marched out of the shop. Our next story is posted by Morgs3319, entitled Dad Impatiently Demands Parking Spot and Gets Instant Karma. I remember this story from a few years back while I was going to a job interview in a popular downtown area. I saw a similar story like this and felt it belonged here. So just to preface this is a very busy downtown and parking is few and far. I happened to find a prime parking spot on arguably the busiest street in the area. I was walking back from the interview, and just as I go to open my car door to get in, a very flustered middle-aged man pulls around the corner with what I'm assuming his kids, and the interaction goes as follows. ED, entitled Dad. Are you going to be moving soon? Me. Yes, I'm about to leave now. You're welcome to the spot. ED. Can you just move? My kids are gonna be late. Me, shocked at how rude he was. Sir, it will just be a moment. I need to plug in my directions. ED. That's not my problem. You can pull over at the next street and do that since you move like a sloth. At this point, I don't engage further because this idiot is not worth getting angry over. So I take my sweet time plugging in my GPS to get home while he's yelling incoherent phrases at my window. And the most delicious part of the whole story is when I pulled out, a drunk Karen whips around the corner and hits a car. A cop who was closely behind angrily directs her to my parking spot before this guy could even pull in, and he loses it. I'm driving away at this point and look back at the cop dealing with these two idiots while I'm laughing all the way home, thinking about if this guy wasn't such an entitled jerk, he probably would have had the parking spot. Too long, didn't read. Entitled Dad impatiently demands a parking spot, only to have it taken by a police officer pursuing a drunk driver. Our final story is posted by Clear Molient. I think that's how you say it. Entitled Stranger at Campground expects me to have a t-shirt for her kid to tie-dye, throws a world-class tantrum when I don't. So my boyfriend and I are camping this weekend at a campground, and we met a couple and their son. Kid was maybe 7 to 11. I'm really bad at guessing kids' ages. While we were setting up our tent, they were setting up theirs at a plot next to ours. We have some polite small talk, and we mentioned that we brought a tie-dye kit to tie-dye a couple of shirts while we were there. It was literally just a small, cheap tie-dye kit. We both brought 2 shirts to make. The mother immediately got excited and said that her son would love to tie-dye with us later that night. We were caught off guard, but I was like, sure, there'd be some extra dye. I didn't really care that much, so I said sure. A few hours of hiking and fishing go by, and then we're ready to go back and settle into the campsite, eat dinner, and start making our t-shirts. We rounded the corner towards the camp, and it was as if the kid was waiting for us. He was right at the path and then sprinted back to his campsite. Once we got closer, his mother stomped over to us, and this is how the conversation went. EM. Where have you guys been? We've been waiting for hours. Me. We've been hiking, but he can come and use it for a little bit once we set it up. I was totally caught off guard and turned off that she even approached me that way, but I blew it off again. Like, did this lady expect me to alter my plans all day to cater to her kid? We get to our campsite and we're about to start dinner, but this woman and her kid are just staring at us. So I decide to just get the dye ready so that he can bring his stupid t-shirt over and leave us alone so that we can eat in peace. I bring the dye out and they come over to our table empty-handed. EM. Looks great. He's a small or a medium. Me. What? I don't have anything for him to use. I thought you had your own t-shirt and wanted to dye it. EM. No, you guys are the ones who brought the tie-dye kit. We waited all day for you to get back, and now you're saying you don't even have a t-shirt for him? Me. I don't know what to tell you. We have 4 t-shirts to make for ourselves. EM. I can't believe you told my son that he could tie-dye, got his hopes up. He waited all day. Can he have one of yours? Me. Absolutely not, I said while laughing. EM. It's not funny. Don't laugh at me. At this point, I'm just like, whatever, lady. We keep snickering at her until they storm back to their campsite, where she starts playing literal death metal music at full blast. It's hilarious. This chick was insane, throwing a full-blown temper tantrum and glaring at us from afar. An hour or so later, a ranger comes over to our tent and said that he got a report that we were drinking alcohol. We were drinking alcohol, but they typically don't care unless we're disturbing other campers. We were just 2 people sitting and eating dinner quietly. I told him what happened and he thought it was hilarious. I jokingly said that I'd like to make a counter report about the EM's music. He was like, oh hell yeah, I'll do that. And he went over to her. She threw a fit when he told her to turn that down. and I heard her screaming about how we're partying and drinking, and how dare he confront her and not us. Eventually, her husband turned her music off while she was mid-screech. Then she sulked into the tent, never to come back out. The ranger came back over to our campsite for a beer after dark. We considered calling her poor husband over for a beer too, but we decided not to poke the bear. That's all the stories I have for today. Links to the original Reddit posts will be in the description box below. Please stop on by Reddit to show the OP some love and an upvote. If you enjoy my videos, please comment, like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell notification to let you know when I upload new videos. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.